Sidney Powell, the lawyer who did and, according to Trump, did not actually work for Donald Trump, as part of her plea deal, she has, of course, agreed to talk to prosecutors. And some of her conversation with prosecutors was leaked this week, along, of course, with testimony from Jenna Ellis, where she basically said, not basically, she 100% said that she was told Trump would never leave office, but Sidney Powell's testimony was equally as powerful. And it almost completely destroys Donald Trump's biggest legal defense in the Georgia trial. Here's why. Donald Trump is trying to basically say that he got bad advice from lawyers. And one of those lawyers was Sidney Powell, who he claimed never even worked for him. Even though in December of 2020, he put out a post on Twitter saying she worked for him. He now says, nope, she never worked for me at all. But, you know, occasionally I talked to her a few times. Well, Ms. Powell told prosecutors in Georgia that Donald Trump not just talked to her a couple times. She wasn't just at the White House in the Oval Office strategizing. She wasn't just at that weird press conference with Rudy Giuliani. No. Donald Trump called her repeatedly, she said, over the weeks, to ask how the lawsuits were going. Now, do those sound like the actions of a man who didn't hire this woman as his attorney? No, they don't. These sound like a client asking his lawyer how his lawsuits are going. Again, completely blowing up Donald Trump's legal defense. Because in addition to that, Sidney Powell also said that the reason Donald Trump listened to her was because she was willing to go along with his plans, whereas all of the other lawyers told him this isn't going to go anywhere. So that kind of destroys all of his claims, not just that Powell never worked for me, clearly she did, but most importantly, if you're going to try to use an advice of counsel defense in Georgia, you've shot that to hell. Actually, technically, Sidney Powell shot it to hell, but you're the one in the free fall right now. Because you cannot argue advice of counsel when you have 10 lawyers on one side telling you, no, you can't do a thing, but you only got 2 on the other side saying, yeah, you can probably do it. We'll make it happen. Why not? The people telling you no outnumbered and outweighed the people telling you yes. You got to pick and choose who you wanted to listen to, even though you had legal opinions on both sides. You cannot argue advice of counsel in that scenario when other counsel is telling you this is illegal. Sidney Powell's testimony may prove to be one of the most damning against Donald Trump's, perhaps even more damning than what Jenna Ellis had to say. So Powell, who I had said in the past was, kind of in danger of losing her plea deal because of things that she has said, specifically still claiming that there was tons of fraud in Georgia, even though she's agreed as part of her plea deal that no, that didn't happen. But she does seem to be cooperating, at least behind closed doors, which I guess is where it matters. And what we know just from that little bitty snippet that was released seems like Donald Trump's in some pretty big trouble now. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.